The Waffenträger Auf Panzer IV is a tank that needs no introduction on my channel. It is the most played tank in World of Tanks Blitz. Chances are that all of you out there have played this vehicle at least once, as 22,975 people just in the past 30 days have played in this tank, accumulating over 4.4 million battles, which is pretty insane when you do think about it. If we compare that to the Grille 15, the tier 10 tech tree counterpart, this vehicle has 2.7 million battles played. And that's the thing that you always find weird is, why is the tier 9 played more than the tier 10? Usually people play a tier 9 to get to the tier 10 so then they can play that a lot. A good example would be the M6 Yo. I don't see the M5 Yo with having more games. I don't see the Tortoise having more battles. So why is the Waffenträger so many more games, almost double the Grille 15? Well, it's pretty simple, because this is honestly a better tank at tier 9 against tier 10s than the Grille is at tier 10 against tier 9s, if I'm going to be completely honest. The Waffenträger has two main advantages over the Grille. It is a fully traversable turret and camouflage. Now, the camo is insane on this tank. It is one of the best camo values in tier 9, which gives you the ability to not get detected about 200 meters away from the enemy, even if you're driving. And once you shoot and you're sitting still, if you're running camo net, you're just easily not even getting detected by the enemy team. That is what makes you so strong in a Waffenträger, is the ability to get nasty shells out and back into cover instantly. That's the issue with the Grille, which we're going to be talking about in today's video, is the camo. This tank just gets detected every single time you shoot. And unlike the Waffenträger, that has a fully traversable turret, your turret only goes about, 35 degrees to the right and to the left, which means that when you shoot, you have to be facing towards your enemy, meaning that you have to reverse your tank. And this is a very slow tank on reverse speed at 15. It's very easy to track this thing. It's got the same hull as like a tier 6 tank, so yeah, it doesn't do great at that compared to where the Waffenträger can just shoot and instantly pull into cover. So that's the biggest two issues, is camo and as well the turret not being fully traversable. But there are some massive advantages. The Grille takes what the Waffenträger is and puts them to the extreme. So the gun on this tank is by far one of the best tier 10 guns in the game. It's got .275 dispersion, 2.9 seconds aiming time, and DPM of 3,338. And that DPM would be good if it was running rammer, but I'm not. I'm actually running calibrated. With rammer, you're getting up to 3,600 damage per minute, which is just insane. The issue is that you can't ever use that DPM, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. We're going to pull up a dead rail replay here. And yeah, I'll talk you through the issue with the tank as we play it. But dead rail is a pretty good map for tank destroyers. If you're ever on this map, it's sometimes a golden zone. If you're in an object 268 or even a Waffenträger, you can sit up on this bush over here and literally just farm the enemy for days, not being detected. And even if you are, you just back up and you're usually fine. Well, you're going to see what happens in the Grille 15. Now, these enemies that get detected, you'll see how far away they are, about 250 meters away. There is a T-125, 280, and oh, that shell just went a teeny bit off to where I wanted it to, into his mantlet instead of the weak spot on the turret. That's one thing I always notice about the Grille, is it always seems to not hit weak spots, even when you aim. But here we are. We're sitting up on the bush. This is one of my favorite spots in the game. I will say, the nice thing about having a lot of mobility like the Grille is that you can get into position fairly quickly. But here we go. We got a 50 TP, 240 meters away. And I'm running Camo Net, by the way. Obviously, Camo Net does not activate unless you're standing still, but you still get about a 10% camo boost, even if you're not standing still. And I got detected across the map. Not across the map, but, I mean, that's 250 meters away. There is no way a Waffle would be detected. In fact, I did a test in a training room with one of my friends, and it took about 170 meters for a Waffle standing still to get detected by another tier 10. That is insane. This tank, 250 meters, and it gets detected easily. So here we go. We got an E5 off to the side, and just can't get that aiming time in quick enough. I didn't want to snap that shell. Here we go. We got a 50 TP again, 248 meters away. Bam! There you go. I was waiting for that light bulb. There you go. Spotted. And the moment that my light bulb pops up, guess what? I'm down 800 health. So I've dealt 685 this game. Can't work that hill anymore. There you go. Another 400 damage shell coming into my tank. This is my big issue with the Grille, is once you get detected, you feel literally useless. And I couldn't have gone anywhere else this battle, because if I had gone to the medium side, I would have been just completely butchered by the E50M and probably Grille. So that is the issue I have with this tank. It's one thing that I know I'm complaining a lot about this vehicle, and you'll see in the next game that I'm actually going to stop complaining and talk about the great parts, but it's just that when you play this tank, it feels so unenjoyable because every time you shoot, there's just this lingering pain inside you that says, am I detected? Am I detected? And then you get hit for like 1,000 damage. You're like, wow, guess I was. So, yeah, I'm trying to get back into this bush now, seeing if I can work it. But honestly, not much happens. We got the Grille 15 off to the side. And, I mean, I can skip ahead for quite a bit. I just don't get any shells out on the enemy tanks. We're sitting at about 1,600 damage, though, because if you remember, I did manage to connect an HE shell on the Bash Chateau 25 AP at the beginning, so I got very lucky that I was actually able to connect that shell. But at this point, I'm trying to think, okay, well, at least I'm hoping that I can get some damage out. I mean, I didn't help my team that much. We had 2 mouses, and they were able to do their job as heavies to use their hit points and actually come out with a victory. Unfortunately, I'm only at like 1,600 damage, and for this map, that's pretty poor. But here we go, aiming in on the rear of that WZ, and boom, 643, not too bad. We're at 2,381 damage as the little banner popped up. And what that means is one more pen, and we should be sitting at around 3,000, so I actually wasn't mad this game at the end, but it's just frustrating that 100% I could have sat a waffle where I sat my grill and just not been detected the entire game. I mean, we literally had a waffle do that, and you'll notice that the Waffenträger just did not get detected at all while he was sitting there. So that's one of the irritations I have with the grill. Its gun is great, but you notice there that I really couldn't even use the gun because every time I shot I was detected, and I lost about 1,300 health for one shell I tried firing that didn't even pen. So now, let's break into a good replay. This is a game on Hellas. Now, I actually did this on live stream yesterday, and if you're on tonight, I'll be live streaming it at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock EST, so make sure to be on tonight. But enough about me shouting out my own channel. This map is a pretty weird map. I mean, there are very good spots for tank destroyers, and you're going to see where I position my tank. According to the enemy lineup, they've got a Krandong, they got an Emil 2, M103, they got 3 heavy tanks, and they're not super deadly heavies. I mean, the Kron, it's strong, but it doesn't have a huge alpha gun, which is good. They do have a Jagdpanzer, they do have a Waffenträger, and they do have a Grille, which, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't want to be tapped by those tanks, but for the most part, if I'm able to position my tank in a good scenario, I should be fine. So we're waiting here, seeing if any enemy tanks are going to poke this position. But as I said, if I fire here, that's about 250 meters away. I will be detected. I mean, if you think about it, that was a tier 9 heavy tank that was spotting me. The Waffenträger, I mean, I've seen WT sit in that bush, shoot me, and you just can't spot them. And I mean, you guys probably all have your horror stories of a WT firing and ruining your day. It's not that I don't think this tank is good, it's just why play it when you can play a tier 9 that is flat out better. So there we go, nice shot into the M103, 673 damage there, pretty nice tap. I don't know why that guy pushed there, but he gave me a bit of damage, so I'm not going to complain. We have the Jägerpanzer off to the side. I wanted to try and get a shell into this tank, but I'm also being very, very careful. You can see the reverse speed, it's okay on this tank. I mean, I'm trying to make sure that I can get some nice snaps out. Aiming in on the Emil, boom, beautiful shell through the barriers there, and with that, we are now at 1,352 damage. One thing that is amazing about this tank is because it has such high DPM with such a high alpha, it's only about 5 shells and you're easily over 3,000 damage. And, I mean, you don't realize that until you actually are. This thing just racks out those damage numbers. 2 shells, and I've taken away the equivalence of about, 80% of a tier 9 medium tank. It's pretty big damage. So what do we have here? We got the Bash Chateau 25-ton AP off to the side. We got an Emil 2. And our team, yeah, we've already lost 2 tanks, and not amazing. So I gotta be very, very careful. I wanted to shoot that Krandong, but I also know that I gotta be careful. So I'm gonna purposely put my tank behind this rock so the Emil 2 cannot spot me if he goes that way. And here we are waiting for the bat shot, and oh, fire! Oh, it goes in between his turret. I should have waited because I didn't realize he was actually going around that corner. I thought he was going around the other side of the rock. But, I mean, we still got to finish him off anyway, so I'm not going to complain. But, man, that was so unfortunate. It went in between his turret. I was like, are you kidding me? Either way, here we are aiming at the rear of the Emil 2. Nice HG shell. And with that, we're sitting at 2487 damage. So you can see, when you actually do get a farm in this tank, it feels amazing. But I'm going to be honest, all this damage I probably could have done easily in the Waffenträger as well. So the enemy team, they've got the Kanon over here. I wanted to get an HG into his tank so bad, but I should have just fired. That was my fault. I held that shell way too long, and because of that, instead of dealing 640 damage, I dealt nothing. Good job, Droodles. But good news is we're still going to do some pretty decent damage here. So we got the Krandong. He can't really do much to me, so I'm going to continue pushing on up. The tank I'm really worried about is the WT. I mean, that guy has not been spotted the entire game. I have no clue where he is at. My guess is somewhere up in the hills, and I was just expecting to, like, instantly die when I poke this, but no, we're actually fine here. So there you go, 1 shell into the Kron, 579, and you can see the Waffenträger just got spotted landed right in front of me. Now, my prediction was right. This guy was trying to shoot me in the WT, but thankfully, because this thing has such high DPM, this is going to be 1,200 hit points we've taken off of this guy, and we rolled a massive, massive shot. So I'm going to be purposely using this pillar so that the WT cannot hit my tank. We're already at 4,167 damage, purposely making sure he can't see me, and now if he pokes it, boom, 1,110 damage. Now, I don't know why that guy did that. I mean, it was pretty bad, I'm going to be honest. But, you know what? I'm not going to complain. He gave me a bunch of damage, and we're going to load an HE shell here. Boom, thank you, ma'am, for another 195 damage. And there you go. This is a game where the girl does great. 5,500 damage is a pretty impressive number when you think about it. It's definitely a tricky tank to play, and you have to get very, very lucky in the matchups you have. If you have a bad team and you're on a map like Himmelsdorf, if you're on a map like Mines, or really any map that is close quarters combat Dynasty, you're screwed. There's nothing you're going to do. If your mediums do not push medium side on Dead Rail, you're done. If your mediums do not push medium side on Castilla, you're done. There's just so many downsides of the Grille that I don't like playing it much, and that's why it is it actually is my lowest win rate tier 10 in the game. And it's not only that, but it is my least played tier 10 in the game. Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you guys think about the Grille. Do you enjoy this tank, or is it one of those vehicles that you understand the issues with? But let me know what you guys think. Maybe it's just me. Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!